Hi, this is Nick06130601, and today I'm making this video about one of the better parks in the Rochester, New York area, Ellison Park. For those of you who may have never heard of it, this 447-acre park has something for just about anybody, ranging from hiking trails to a dog park to playgrounds to even one of the best frisbee golf courses in the area. But before we get to that, let's go back to the history of the region. The park itself is named after Frank Ellison, who donated the land that would become the first county park in the region. He had quite the background, as he dabbled in manufacturing fertilizers to attending seminary school. He was also responsible for many of the large buildings constructed in downtown Rochester, as he was also the president of the Rochester Investors Company. Ellison owned plenty of land in the area, as he farmed over 100 acres of land at the mouth of the Irondequoit Bay. Eventually, in 1926, Ellison donated the land that would become Ellison Park. However, long before Ellison was around, Seneca Indians once roamed this land, using the area as an important access point to Canada. Seeing as they were one of the most powerful tribes in the Five Nations, they had plenty of influence in this area. The region around Ellison Park and Irondequoit Bay was considered one of the most strategic points in the French and Indian Wars. There are several markers across the property that remind us of the long past of the region long before the existence of the United States. There is even a fort, or at least a replica of one, of a structure that once stood centuries ago that used to be a trading post, referred to as Schuyler's Post. While a place of trade between the British and the Iroquois, it also served as a place of defense against the French. A total of 8 men at a time were to man the fort, with one being Captain Peter Schuyler, who the fort is named after. As a result of finding it difficult to send supplies from Albany, the fort was abandoned after only a year. The current standing structure was constructed in the 1930s, but is still used today for reenactments. There is so much history in this area that slightly up the Irondequoit Creek, there was once an area referred to as Triant Town, which was a failed settlement, though nevertheless made it into the history books. There is even another county park not far from Ellison Park called Triant Park in reference to this time. I might make another video about that eventually. Speaking of the Irondequoit Creek, it spans the entire distance of Ellison Park. No matter where you are in the park, you are never far from this iconic body of water. Fishing is permitted within the park and the creek, and there are plenty of areas to try and catch fish. One aspect of the park that I never knew about until recently is if you follow the creek to the most northern end of the park, you'll actually pass under Browncroft Boulevard and find yourself on the other side of the road. There is not really much to do on the other side, but nevertheless, it is an interesting aspect when visiting. And speaking of Browncroft, it is a very busy road right next to Ellison Park, so when you are on the northern end of the park, you can be rest assured you will constantly be hearing the passing traffic. It is not much more than background noise, and it minimizes the further into the wood areas you get, though regardless, you never forget it's there. These groomed wooded areas are most likely my favorite part of the park, as they typically have the least amount of foot traffic. There are some quality hiking trails within these woods, and as far as an incline goes, these trails can get pretty steep, so bringing a decent pair of hiking boots if you plan on trekking up these hills. I never really followed the trail markers because I kind of like to get lost and explore for myself, but there are designated trails if you're looking for a more organized visit. The names of these trails can range from Overlook Trail to Coyote Den Trail to Butler's Gap Trail and more. These trails are well maintained and seem to always be clear of debris. To ensure the health of the land of the park, there is also an area designated for meadow restoration. The purpose of this is to promote native species, keeping it biologically diverse. I'll leave a link in the description to better help you understand the purpose of this area for more details if you're interested. Along with the hills and the creek, the geography of the park is at a low point, which means after a heavy rainfall, there is sometimes flooding. It is not overly common, but just remain aware that water is oftentimes present within the park, especially following a heavy rain. Along with the natural beauty of the park, there are also many man-made amenities a visitor can enjoy. I've noticed above all else, frisbee golf is definitely the most popular. It seems there isn't a time I go where there aren't large numbers of players of the game hiking up and down the hill the course is located on. It is actually a location where the Rochester Frisbee Golf Club goes to play. Additionally, there is a dog park which is also very popular. It is a fun place to pass even if you don't own a dog yourself, as it's pretty amusing to watch the dogs interact with each other. There is also a tennis court, which is slightly tucked away from the main road, but it is not difficult to navigate as there are several signs directing you to where it is. Next to the tennis court, there is also a bog, which sometimes has ducks swimming in it. If coming with kids, there are also playgrounds that they can play on. They're pretty decent in size compared to the newer playgrounds of today, and if hosting a birthday party, there are several shelters across the property. They are scattered throughout, so if planning on using one, it would be wise to make a reservation. Being located in the Northeast, this park is bound to experience all the seasons. This time of year especially, the leaves look great with plenty of orange and yellow on the leaves. making it look like almost a painting. In the winter, Ellison Park is also one of the most popular areas in Rochester to go sledding. There is a designated hill to do this on, and probably some of the most fun you'll have if you're into the winter time. It seems Ellison Park is one of those places where I honestly just never run out of things to do and explore. From the old stone staircases to the more modern facilities, this is definitely a favorite spot of mine to spend an afternoon. It is definitely worth a visit, so if you ever find the time to do it, I would definitely recommend visiting this area. Overall though guys, I just wanted to say thank you for watching this video, and hopefully I'll make a little bit more in the upcoming future, and I just wanted to say thanks for watching. Bye.